SCP-1227-35 recording length 04 minutes and 29 seconds. This recording was created using www.spokentext.net. What happened in the Soviet Union and other East European socialist countries. Major factors in the serious setbacks to socialism include the constant attacks by capitalist countries, which went from economic harassment through political subversion up to military intervention and to threat of military occupation. The stresses put on socialist economies by the arms race and military threats and attacks. The fortress mentality which developed in those countries as a result of the constant attacks, leading to inadequate development of socialist democracy. Insufficient adoption of the advances of the scientific technological revolution. Economic models which didn't give sufficient weight to constantly revolutionizing the means of production. The historical circumstances of socialism starting in what were primarily peasant societies. Bureaucratization in the state apparatus of those countries. A serious blurring of important lines between the party and the state and between accomplishing objectives by administrative means and by political means. And a formal approach to Marxist ideological and educational work rather than a truly dynamic, dialectical approach. For some recommended reading, see books listed in What Are the CIPU-SA's Views on the USSR? What are the CIPU-SA's Views on the USSR? The subject of the USSR is a complex one. There was certainly an insufficiently developed democracy. But to dismiss over 70 years of their history developing socialism as completely undemocratic is a gross oversimplification. They practiced forms of economic democracy and worker involvement unknown in this country. They offered citizens many essential benefits that the drive to capitalism has destroyed. When the solution is worse than the problem, it is not a solution. Capitalism has made life for the vast majority in the former Soviet Union and other former socialist countries much worse. All indicators of social health are deteriorating, such as the sharp rise in infant mortality, the decrease in longevity rates, levels of malnutrition and starvation, decreasing health care for most of the population, inadequate and overwhelmed social security and welfare programs. The problems they faced would have had a better chance of being solved by more socialism, not less. I recommend 6 books to help deepen your knowledge of the accomplishments and shortcomings of the Soviet Union. Heroic Struggle, Bitter Defeat by Damon Azad from International Publishers. 2000. Black Shirts and Reds by Michael Burney from City Light Publishers. These are both valuable contributions to the discussion of what happened in the Soviet Union, why, and how that connects to the history of Soviet policies, about issues of human rights and socialist development in the Soviet Union. See Human Rights in the Soviet Union by Albert Zaminsky. Z Books, 1984. An earlier book of his, Is the Red Flag Still Flying? Included an afterword that is very incomplete. Started an historical materialist analysis of Stalin's role. Zaminsky was an economist and a Maoist who set out to prove the Maoist thesis of capitalist restoration in the Soviet Union, but on examining the statistics and realities, came to the conclusion that the Maoists were wrong, that the Soviet Union was still primarily run in the interests of the working class. He used statistics and facts as reported by right-wing academicians, arguing that facts as reported by anti-communists could be used to prove progressive points with greater believability by anti-communist readers. Soviet Women, Ramparts Press, 1975, and Soviet but Not Russian, Ramparts Press, 1985, by William Mandel and To Siberians by Farley Mouet are useful responses to the barrage of anti-communism directed at the Soviet Union and other socialist countries. Note that for writing this particular book, Farley Mouet was barred from entering the United States in the 1980s. He wrote a short funny book about his experiences. The U.S. State Department finally backed down, at which time Mouet refused to enter. Other world-famous authors have been refused entry into the U.S. as undesirable aliens, including Nobel Literature Prize winner Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This recording was created using Spoken Text, the free online text-to-speech converter. To learn more about Spoken Text, visit www.spokentext.net. CP1230-35 recording length 01 minutes and 32 seconds. This recording was created using www.spokentext.net. How can you defend socialism when socialist countries are continually violating human rights? Aren't socialist countries anti-democratic? The human rights records of socialist countries have been uneven, and certainly have included violations of human rights, which we see as unacceptable. But the view that all socialist countries are completely undemocratic is a lie, another superficial PR job to keep people from looking critically at our own country's violations of human rights. Most socialist countries did, and do, accomplish many democratic things like guaranteeing jobs, health care, education, and voting rights, like encouraging mass participation in decision-making, in both the electoral and economic arenas, like guaranteeing freedom of religion as long as it isn't used as a political force against socialism. For an alternative view of the myth that U.S. actions overseas support democracy, see Allende's Chile by Edward Borstein, International Publishers, 1977. Another valuable, though also no longer up to date, look at how the U.S. functions in the world, is The Sword and the Dollar by Michael Prenti, St. Martin's Press, 1989. Prenti also has written an excellent alternative political science textbook called Democracy for the Few, St. Martin's Press, 1983, issued in many editions, which looks deeper at the myths of U.S. democracy. This recording was created using Spoken Text, a free online text-to-speech converter. To learn more about Spoken Text, visit www.spokentext.net.